Sunlight that always stays, dinner by the waterway. It's that sweet life. Raise your crops. Made some dude crack a smile. He asked if I could stay a while. I'm living that high life. Time to catch a flight, but you can make me go. Unlocking all the memories of my home. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro, back and forth, yeah. Caught some kids dancing in the alleyway. Crazy how the melodies began to play, yeah. Tell me how you feeling when you hear the lyric, yeah. My heart's in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. I left my heart in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. Shutting the girl, I brought a girl on my Vespa. She said I already told you that, girl. I never dated a black guy. I said you're brown yourself. Let me offer help. Come on inside. Where everybody knows your name. Everybody knows your name. Time to catch a flight, but you can make me go. Unlocking all the memories of my new home. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Nathan Ivey with you. Hope you had a great weekend. Listen, I want you to take a couple of minutes and share today's show. When you share the show, more people see it. It means everything. We'll get started in 60 seconds. My apologies. Some information came to me this morning that emotionally, I just had to take a step back, and I needed at least 30 minutes inside of my own head. I'll tell you all the details. I want to talk about what I learned from the Nate Robinson fight. That's right. I'm not calling it Tyson Jones, but from the Nate Robinson fight, you can see the image there up on the screen, at least some of it anyway. Plus a Black Lives Matter activist, young man that was very active down in Louisville in the movement, died under what I would call suspicious circumstances. I want to bring that to your attention if you're not aware. Again, take this moment, family, to like and share this stream. The Nathan Ivey Show is Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show. You know, I keep it 100 with you. If you want to share your thoughts, 513-873-7134. You can see my number up on the screen right there. We'll get started in about 60 seconds.
In about the waterway, it's
the Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
Back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, for the feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty talking about, oh, I'm on they now, can't get a pass.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nathan Ivey with you. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm good. Good morning to you. Many things to discuss this morning. Let's get straight to it. I mean, I typically start the show at about 7:30, but many of you know the show is starting just a little bit later than normal this morning. Have some information that came to me, and I need a couple of minutes. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. My weekend was fantastic. How was your holiday? Was it great? Hopefully good. Good to hear that. Let me push this back just a little bit there, because I feel like y'all all up in my fucking grill this morning. Good morning to you. There we go. Yeah. Yes. Good morning. Now, as you can see from today's cover art, I want to talk about what happened to Nate Robinson. And let me put it this way, man. The internet is so damn unkind. If you don't know, there was a big fight over the weekend, and I guess the headlining card, right, was about Tyson, that's Mike Tyson, and Roy Jones, two legends in the boxing game. Now, I'm old enough to I never saw them live with my own eyes, but I watched Mike Tyson on pay-per-view. A lot of the men in my family was crazy into boxing when I was coming up, so they used to order all the pay-per-view. When pay-per-view, I remember like watching Mike. Remember the same thing with Roy Jones. I don't remember buying Roy Jones. I don't remember ever buying it myself, but I do remember watching some of the pay-per-view specials. Two tremendous physical specimens and two of the best pugilists of all time, legends. And they did an exhibition over the weekend that a lot of people watched. I didn't watch it live, I'll be honest with you. Okay, I just didn't care enough. Not to say you shouldn't have, but I'm like, $50, man, I can do a lot with 50. It's just, and then the world that we live in, I knew I could get pretty much all of it within 24, 48 hours. And of course you can now. All right. Did you get a chance to watch it? Did it live up to the billing? I heard that Snoop Dogg killed it as a commentator. Again, I didn't get a chance to watch enough of it to really give you a strong opinion about it. And then you had the undercards. The undercard that really caught my attention, of course, was because of what happened with the knockout, was Nate Robinson, who, if you don't know, he's a tremendous athlete. The guy, was a great NBA. I thought he was a very good NBA player. I don't think he ever won a championship, but he was a good NBA player. He was undersized for the NBA, but he was dope nonetheless. He was really, really good. It's funny because I was watching a podcast called All the Smoke with Captain Jack and Matt Barnes on Showtime. One of my favorite sports podcasts, by the way. They did the best final interview with Kobe Bryant you're going to find out there. Great. It was like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks before Kobe died. It's great. And so they most recently on one of their podcasts were just taking some fan mail, answering questions from fans. And one of the questions was, who was the best athlete you ever played with? And Captain Jack said, Nate Robinson. So Nate Robinson went up against a dude named Jake Paul, who you may or may not be familiar with. He's like known on YouTube, and it looks like he's trying to be like a serious athlete and is a serious athlete and maybe going into world of boxing. I wish the brother the best. Nate Robinson got knocked out. And when you get knocked out in these days in terms, I mean, people got that Friday mentality. Remember Smokey? You got knocked the F out. That's just the way it goes. Let me give you my thoughts on it. I'm more in the Floyd Mayweather vein of these kind of things. I thought Floyd Mayweather showed a lot of compassion, a lot of love for Nate Robinson. He went on Instagram, posted a photograph of him standing right next to Nate Robinson. It was like, y'all chill. I support this man right here. That's how I feel about Nate Robinson. I'll be honest with you. When I saw the knockout, it was so vicious that I was concerned for his health. I was concerned for the brother's health. I mean, the initial blow was one thing. I think he hit him with a right. I think it was. And Then the second blow is when you hit the canvas, and he was lights out. You know what I'm saying? Lights out. And he was laying there for some time, and the medical staff came in. I'm glad to say, and I read this, that Nate seems like to this point he's okay. You know, boxing is a hell of a sport. You can lose your life just like that in that game. Lights out. Don't matter. And I learned a couple things after watching the Nate Robinson fight. That's what I'm calling it. Because that seems to have overshadowed Tyson Jones, which, from what I'm picking up, you know, was just okay. It was a draw. There was no big hit. It was all right. That's part of the reason I wasn't into it, because this is just me. And these men are probably both in better shape than I am. But I don't want to watch these old Negroes boxing. That was just me. It's like, I saw y'all boxing y'all prime. I want to see you boxing your prime. But I get it. Everybody's COVID shut in. We're looking for different things. It can be some fun. Have fun. Well, I'm just telling you why I didn't really purchase it. I had no real interest in it. I was like, I don't care. You know, I'll watch it on YouTube afterward, or I'll go to Triller. Shout out to Triller. You anybody hip to Triller? I got so many levels I want to share with you. I want to talk about from the media perspective, what I saw and what I learned over the weekend with this fight. But let me go back to Nate Robinson. The internet is unkind. And see, the difference between me and a lot of people is that I don't really have a lot of high expectations in a lot of people. I'll be honest with you. Like when it comes to me, I know what I'm going to bring to the table. But I don't really have a lot of high expectations for other folks. That's just how I am. So I'm rarely disappointed because I don't really mean, I'm a show me kind of person. You can talk me to death, but when you show me, that's when you start to get my respect. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm different. So I understand the internet for what it really is. You know, it's a place of trolls. There's a lot of people there that ain't doing a damn thing, but they can come out of their turtle shell and talk some ish with the anonymity of being on the internet, and they go back in their turtle shell, and that's it. I know what it is. I don't really get too caught up with it. You know what I'm saying? People are taking shots at me before. People say, oh, whatever. I read the comments, even in the chop shop. Okay. You know what I'm saying? What's the intro say? You can't kill my confidence. I think I'm the man. Like, I think I'm the man. I don't care what nobody say, period. I'm the star of my own life. You can't tell me ish about that. You don't like it? I know somebody that do. I know 3 people that do. They're upstairs right now. Like I said, I know where my bread is buttered. I know where my support is. And when you know that, all this internet stuff don't mean nothing to me. But what I learned is, once again, that the internet is undefeated. The internet is unkind. All the memes, some of them have been hilarious. I'll be honest with you. I did laugh at some of the memes. I laughed at just the creativity of it. But for Nate Robinson, I don't think ill of Nate Robinson. I don't think down about the brother. He took his shot. He did what a lot of people are afraid to do. For all I know, and I don't know this to be true or not, for all I know, Nate Robinson, he's a hell of an athlete. He's very athletic. That might have been his dream, to be an athlete his whole life. His dream could have been his whole life to get into the boxing ring. I wish him the best with that. I have more respect for Nate Robinson, who will get into the ring and get knocked out, than people that want to get into the ring but don't because they're afraid to get knocked out. Can you feel me on that? Can you feel me on that? I got more respect. Let me say it again. I got more respect for Nate Robinson for doing what he wanted to do. He got into the ring. He got knocked out. But at least he didn't allow. To me, that's not losing. Losing would have been he always wanted to get into the ring, but allow his fears to knock him out. Sometimes in life, you get knocked out. It is what it is. I've never been knocked out by another man. I've got into fights before and got shook, but I've never been knocked out. I did get knocked out once, but I wasn't knocked out by another person. I was playing something. I was playing tag or something. Ran into a wall. Woke up like 10 minutes later. I was a kid. I was like 7. I remember that. But another man has never knocked me out before. I've been woozy, but I've never been knocked out before. So I don't know what that's like. It happens. There's not a man out there that can't get knocked out. Period. Didn't Mike Tyson get knocked out? It happens. I think a lot of people are like, maybe it's the black-white thing because Jake Paul's a white dude, a YouTuber. What the fuck does that? YouTube is a platform. That don't mean he's not a good athlete. That don't mean nothing. Plus, he was much bigger than Nate Robinson. I don't know what the weight difference was, but to me, he seemed to be much bigger. Much bigger. So I ain't surprised to see what happened. You know, hopefully little bro be okay. You know, he don't have no long-term effects. But I'll say this again. I got more respect for Nate Robinson conquering his fears, conquering the fear, what other people might say, getting in the ring and getting knocked out, than I do people that'll watch. They want to do it, but they're afraid to do it because they might get knocked out. Can you feel me on that? There's a lesson in that. You get the hell up off the canvas, just like you did. That's life for you. You ain't going to win every fight. You're not going to win every battle. It's really about, do you get back up? He got up. I would, from a health standpoint, not like to see Nate Robinson do it again, but if he does, I support that, brother. And get yourself back up, get your game together. Get you some better trainers. Some of these memes about the trainers have been hilarious. Like I said, Nate Robinson, it is what it is. To me, there's a lesson in there. The lesson is you can be a little turtle in your shell and be safe and never go anywhere. Or you can put your head outside the shell, get out your comfort zone. You're going to take some lumps. You're going to take some losses. But, oh, well, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. What do you think about it? 513-873-7134. Some of these memes, check these memes out. These memes, they said that this was Nate Robinson's trainer. That's Beetlejuice from the Howard Stern show. It's Beetlejuice. Y'all wrong for that. Again, I laugh at the creativity of the memes because the internet is undefeated. I am now a creature of the internet and I love it. I take the good and the bad. It is what it is. I tell people, don't step into this arena with your tender heart because you're going to get your feelings hurt. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Here's another one. What is this? That Doughboy in them? Oh, my God. Y'all wrong, man. Who made these memes? These Nate Robinson memes are hilarious, man. Y'all wrong for that. Y'all wrong. Y'all so wrong. Why would y'all do that to Nate? But again, I mean, I don't look down at bro, man. Listen, you're not going to win every fight. You ain't going to win every battle. Everything you try ain't going to work. Somebody said this was Nate Robinson waking up the next morning. Y'all wrong. Y'all wrong for this. I do not condone this, but it is hilarious. It's the internet. It's the world that we live in. You got to take the good with the bad. Somebody posted a photograph of me and PG Sittenfield. Now, I didn't mind it at all, but they cut off the top cover art, for the podcast that we did together. It was called Hot Mic. It was a decent podcast. Looking back, I would do some things differently. It was a decent podcast. And we did about 27 episodes. It was John #Glorious. I guess he thought that was going to get to me. John, I don't expect none different. You got to understand, you're watching a man who does what he want to do at all times. I'm not really concerned what other people think. I don't care what other people like me, don't like me. You think it's funny. You don't like the fact that the podcast. I don't give a god damn. I keep telling people that. I can't be, that little stuff that happened on Facebook don't mean that much to me, quite honestly. Not the negative stuff anyway. Okay. I'm back to my life. Life is great. Just so you know. I might re-release the pod just for public consumption. I'm proud of what I did, quite honestly. But again, it just goes to show you the attitude you got to have when you bring it to the game. I've talked to people that do this, and it tickles the hell out of me when they're all mad. Somebody sent me a direct message. I'm like, you're on Facebook. You're going to get that. Get tough. Get tough. People talking about me. And you're going to get talked about. It don't matter who you are. It don't matter what you've done. It don't matter whether you could be Black Jesus. And they're going to talk about you. It don't matter. That's just the nature of social media. You got to take the good with the bad. It is what it is. You don't like the heat, stay at the kitchen. So I don't have any tears for Nate Robinson per se. He's getting roasted right now because he knows what it is. He's okay. He's okay. He can wipe his tears with the millions of dollars that he has left over from his NBA career or the Big Three or something like that. I just hope from a health standpoint, because I know he's got children. I'm not sure if he's married or not, but I know he's got a son or two. I just hope that, he gets up off the canvas and he's good health-wise. And And don't be discouraged by what you sell. See, a lot of people let fear, the fear of falling, stumbling in front of people, stop them from doing things that they want to do. They're going to laugh at you anyway. That's what you got to understand. Them same mofos you worried about what they snickering, you're going to put on some Facebook. Maybe you want to do a podcast, but you're a little bit unsure about it. Do that shit anyway. Do it anyway. Let them laugh. So what? So what? Do it anyway. And that's what people got to understand is that, to me anyway, courage is not the absence of fear. That's not the absence of fear. It's having the fear and having the courage to do it anyway. So you might get knocked to the canvas. Life might knock your ass down like Jake Paul did to Nate Robinson. But what you do after that, fam, is what's going to really determine who you are. Everybody gets knocked out. Any man can get knocked out. There ain't a man watching this today that can't get knocked out by another man. There's not a woman watching this right now that can't get knocked out by another human being, another woman. Preferably not a man, because that'd be some simp, weak ass ish. But you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, don't get all caught up with, oh, you can't get knocked. Anybody can get knocked out. Anybody can get knocked out. You know, you got a button right here. You can't even control it. It's just a part of who you are as a human being. Too much right there in that chin, you out, period. Ain't no real shame in that. You boxing. So I again, you know, I'm taking the Floyd Mayweather approach. Shout out to Floyd. I love what he put on IG. He was like, you know, little bro, you'll be okay. Speaking of Nate Robinson, you'll be all right, man. Dust yourself off. You know what I'm saying? You know, go take care of your health. And if you decide to box, go right back to boxing. And that's what I'm telling you. That's what I learned from it. You ain't gonna win every round. Who wins every round in life? Raise your hand if you won at everything you've ever done. You've always won, because that's not my reality. Raise your hand. I'm telling you, that's not my reality. You know, you're gonna have to fight and claw. Now, at about 7 a.m. this morning, I got some really just emotional news. I'm not going to become over emotional because on some levels I've already been dealing with this, but I found out this morning, it's the reason why the show started a little bit later. I just needed some emotional space. I wasn't prepared to go live. Simple as that. And I found out via Facebook this morning that my grandmother on my father's side passed away. Now, she passed away some days ago. And I just found it on Facebook because I'm Facebook friends with my cousin and she posted something. I'm like, I ain't getting no phone call or nothing, which really speaks to like some issues going on my father's side with me, which I may get into. I think could be some usefulness there, but it is what it is. And so I was very emotional this morning, just an emotional in the sense that I just wanted to spend some time reflecting, thinking about her. My grandmother's name is Selena Hitchcock. And I had a I had a good childhood. When I look back to my childhood, it was very fond, very good memories. And primarily it was good because of the adults that were around me. I had strong, good Black men and women as adults that were role models around me. And you hear me talk about my grandmother, my grandfather. And typically, if I don't make a distinction between it, I'm talking about on my mother's side, because that's who I really spent a lot of time with. I spent a lot more time with my mother's parents than I did my father's parents. My grandfather on my father's side, I never met him. I think he passed away before I was even born. It was out of picture. But I spent a lot of time when I was younger with my grandmother, Selena Hitchcock. So I just want to give a moment of silence for her. Beautiful Black woman. She had a home over in Avondale on Kinney Avenue. Sometimes over the years, you heard me talk about Kinney Avenue. And so think about this. Here I am, a young Black boy growing up in Cincinnati. My grandmother lived in Avondale on Kinney Avenue. And then my grandparents on my mother's side lived in Hackberry, what they call East Wanted Hills. So literally, I would walk down Hackberry, literally, to Avondale, to Kinney Avenue, take that right, and then walk all the way down. She lived near the bottom of that hill there on Kenny Avenue. And that was my reality. You know, I spent a lot of summers going back and forth between those two homes. Great woman, entrepreneur. She was an entrepreneur homeowner. She was an entrepreneur. She was a nurse by trade, but she was also an entrepreneur. She was sold, I believe it was Mary Kay. She go to her house. She had all this Mary Kay everywhere. And she's been in the Mary Kay like all I can remember, making that money as an entrepreneur. And just a really, really good woman who had a real difficult job because my father made it hard on her. You know, my father was a Rolling Stone. So he had multiple children with multiple women, which if you do that, you put a lot of pressure on the family and the mama and the daddy, because now they're trying to knit all these pieces together, which can be very, very difficult. I can remember having a bunch of like Christmas / Thanksgiving dinners at my grandmother's house in Avondale on Kenny Avenue. And I remember all of my other brothers and sisters would be there. And it was my grandmother trying to bring the family together. Shout out to all the grandmothers, all the mothers, grandmothers and grandfathers that try to keep their families together. And in some cases, when you're dealing with these extended families, where you got a son or daughter that's got children, multiple children by multiple different people, that can be difficult trying to pull it all together, right? That can be hard. I would say herding cats, but it's probably even harder than that because you got to deal with the baby mamas who might have different kind of tones and relationships with your son or your daughter. And then you got to deal with all these different children that are being brought up in different environments. I'm just telling you, man, I say it again, you got men. I put this on the men because I'm a man. We have to be in control of our reproductive abilities. 100%. Please like and share this flow. People need to hear this morning. We have to be in control of our reproductive abilities. And when we're not, we put a lot of pressure on other people. Same thing with women. Y'all got to be in control of y'all reproductive abilities, because when you're not, you put a lot of pressure on other people, including your children. But I was just reflecting about my grandmother this morning. I had heard through my family that her health took a downturn and that, you know, she was having some difficulties kind of remembering people. And then my aunts, uncle, father, they were putting together some gatherings, trying to bring the family and all the grandkids back together so they could be with her one last time. I got a message from my aunt about, might have been over a year ago, quite honestly, in which she was saying that my grandmother, you know, it was hard for her to remember people. And that's a real difficult thing. You know, with my grandmother on my mother's side, I watched her decline in front of me. You ever did that before? You ever watched somebody who was a superhero to you, right? They meant everything to you. And then because of old age or Alzheimer's or whatever, they decline in front of you where sometimes they don't remember you. That ish is hard to deal with, family. And in some cases, at least for me anyway, it can be just as hard, if not harder, than death itself. You know, I can deal with death. You know, I've got a better sense of my own mortality. Like one day I am going to die. I understand that completely. All the people around me. And I try to impress that upon my children and let them know that this time that we have together is so precious. Because it's like sand through an hourglass. It's running out. You never know. You never know. Life is precious. It's a gift, but it comes with a bargain. The bargain is one day you're going to leave this world. Every last one of us, everybody listening right now, everybody you know, it's the reality of the bargain, the gift of life. I've come to grips with that. I came to grips with it a long time ago, way before what happened to me earlier this year. Again, I had a near-death experience I've shared with you myself, way before that. And, when my grandparents, who I spent so much time with, passed away, in particular my grandmother, and I saw her degrade in front of me, what stuck with me more was those memories of her, like not remembering, not being able to talk, more so than her passing itself. And so when it came to my grandmother on my father's side, you know, one thing about me and death and people that I know is that I take it seriously. And it's a very personal thing. And I don't give a damn what nobody thinks about what I do. It could be family, it could be my mama, could be you. You know, I think every person should be allowed to grieve the way they want to grieve. I'm not a big funeral person. That's what I've learned about myself. Like, I love my grandparents to death. would chop a person into pieces for them. But what I've noticed is I don't go to the cemetery. My memories are more in my heart. They're more in my head. I'm not really a funeral person. I remember going to my grandfather's funeral. I sat in the front row. I was pissed off. And I can't remember what I was mad about. I might have been mad at the world and just looking for somebody to take it out on. And I remember sitting in the front row, and you've been to funerals before, right? And your dearly departed loved one or your friend is laying there in a casket. And I remember thinking to myself, this was just a waste of time. It just felt like a waste of time, because I'm one of those people that believes that the real heart of a person, the real spirit, is in their spirit. And once the spirit leaves the body, you're just talking about a husk. You know what I'm saying? That husk wasn't really the person that I loved. It was the spirit that has made that transition into whatever is waiting for us. We don't really know. Yeah. I know the religious folks are trying to tell us, but them motherfuckers ain't never been there and came back and told us a damn thing. So they just spitballing and guessing based upon what they say is available information. Reality is we don't really know what's on the other side. We can hope for the best. I hope that Heaven's Got a Ghetto and Tupac and Biggie is on the MIC when I get there. But I don't even really know what's really going to happen. So flash forward to my grandmother. When I heard about, her health degrading, I just didn't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be left with those lasting memories. We had so many great times together, so many great times. I remember her trying to teach me things and teaching me a lot of different things. And, with every family members, you have your ups and downs. There was a time when I fell out with my grandmother because of something that she did. And really, maybe it was something I did. But you get over those things. Those things are small. But, overall, when I heard the news, and again, this just hit me this morning. I wasn't prepared to talk about this. It's just something I saw literally on Facebook. Overall is, I just have great memories. And I want to remain that way. So her funeral is going to be on the 2nd. That's December 2nd. And I'm just kind of searching my feelings between now and then as to whether I will really attend the cemetery. I know some of my aunties, my father, even my cousins might get upset with me, but who gives a goddamn what they think? It's really about, my relationship with her more than anything else. So I'm really searching my feelings as to whether I will attend or not. It won't impact the show. I got to double check and see. I'm not sure exactly what time it is. Again, I just got this information. You know me, I like to tell you what's going on in stream of consciousness, because I'm going to touch one person this morning. And if I can do that, mission accomplished. So I can already hear if I don't attend, some of my family members might have a problem with it, but so what? and they'll get over it or they won't get over it. It's more about, and again, I say this to you because time is short. You should spend every moment in this world doing exactly what you want to do. Every single moment. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do things for other people, because I do things for other people all the time. I'm just saying that there's some things, especially if you're talking about the dearly departed, a loved one, a friend, the decision as to whether you should go to a funeral or not, that's really a personal decision. Like when they say that everybody grieves differently, everybody grieves differently. They really do. I really do. I know there'll be some of my family members that won't agree with this. But okay, that's okay. I'm okay with whoever feeling whatever they want to feel. You got to know who you are. I know who I am 100%. That's all that really matters. So I want to give you an insight as to why the show started later. I just needed some headspace. And really, I just sat here in the dark, not because I was weeping. If I did, I would have told you. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not ashamed of that. But I just wanted to think, and I just remembered a lot of really good things about my grandmother. She was a tremendous woman, an entrepreneur, homeowner, and she was a tremendous force in her family, Worked hard as a nurse. My entire life, I can't remember a time when she never was working. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember a time of her struggling financially, although I'm sure everybody does. But she always maintained her property. She used to love to maintain her garden. You go to her house, it was all nicely manicured and groomed. You know what I'm saying? And she was a salt of the earth woman. This world is less because she's no longer here. I know my family in particular is going to be impacted by it. And even though I wasn't spending a lot of time with her as she got older, you know, when you establish those good fundamentals, I don't think they ever really go away. You know, it sticks with you. But that's a little bit about, you know, why the show started earlier or later than it normally does. Because typically we start at 7:30. I have no plans on not going at 7:30 this morning. I'm dealing with this. But again, you know, when I heard the news about it, I already started that process. Like, I've been down this road before. I know how this ends. I don't remember how old she was. I had to look at the obituary to give you the numbers. I think she was in her 80s. So, you know, she had a good long life. There's a lot of folks don't even get to 80. Tupac died at what, 26? A lot of folks take it in their teens. So to get to 80, that's great. That's great. So there it is. A little bit about what's going on with me this morning. 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, I'm more than willing to receive it. Now, when we kicked off the show, I was talking about what I learned from the Nate Robinson fight. And I shared it with you. And what I learned is that, like I said, I respect Nate. If you're just tuning in, I got more respect for Nate Robinson for having the courage to get into the ring, even though it eventually led to him getting knocked out by Jake Paul, than I do people who live their life forever as spectators, afraid to get into the ring. Now, it might not be the ring of like boxing, but whatever that ring, you know, follow me out with, whatever it might be. Get into the game. I respect people that get into the game, put some skin into the game. You're willing to take the wins and the losses. I respect it. I got less respect for the people that always want to be in a peanut gallery. You got something to say, but you ain't never out there. Afraid to put your foot into the ring. So the memes are hilarious. You know, that's what we live for. That's part of the energy of the internet. The memes are what they are. I mean, people are creative and they thinking about these cultural references. It is what it is. I got no problem with that. Hold on one second. I might be getting some phone calls. Let me make sure the phone calls are going to the right place. So I always seem to forget that. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second, because now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I'm certainly probably redirecting those calls. So give me 1 second. So if you're trying to call in, the number will actually reach me here at the Black Man Bat Cave, aka my home studio. Give me 1 second here. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. There we go. So now we golden. Living my life like it's golden. We golden now. We golden. In terms of the weekend was great. Of course, I was with you on Friday. We did a Friday show, Black Friday show. Speaking of which, if you're interested in getting some merch, this is limited edition. I think we'll do this for the next week, probably until Monday. Black Voices Matter. There's a link to Teespring in the description in today's show. You can check it out. Hit the link. All of the proceeds will go right back into CDM as we build out this platform. Speaking of which, how many people are on Cash App? If you like to support this platform and this mission to amplify Black voices, you can do so at Nathan Ivey Show. Nathan Ivey Show. I'm going to create a new one for Digital Media, but for now, Nathan Ivey Show. If you like this kind of content and you want to support, please feel free to do so. Your support means everything. Also, please like and share today's stream. Please like and share today's stream. Means everything. How many people on Cash App? Are you a Cash App person? So am I, Nathan Ivey Show. And so back to this. So back to my thoughts on Nate Robinson. I think what we're finding out, let me talk about the media perspective for just a second. I think we're living in amazing times. I love what I'm saying. So what was it? A week ago, we had the Versus battle. Shout out to Swizz Beat, one of the co-founders of the Versus series. That's like his own like live stream podcast. I love it. Even though I don't watch every second of it, I love the idea of it. And Swizz Beat put some numbers up, which I thought were quite amazing. Let me share this with you. The game done changed. For years, I was talking about the coming of the digital revolution. Well, damn, it's already here, yo. It's already here. If you ain't hip, you're late to it. But check out so Gucci versus Jeezy. These are the numbers they did. Gucci versus Jeezy. You got to see this. Over 7 million impressions. 126,800,000 stream likes. 5.5 million views. over 6 million tweets in the US and 3.2 million tweets globally about the Versus series. Gucci versus Jeezy. I mean, that's bigger than, as Swiss Beast put it, that's bigger than some of these award shows. I think the only award show that is bigger in terms of numbers for any particular broadcast is the Grammys. That Versus show did bigger and better numbers than every other award show other than the Grammys. Think about that. The game done changed. Everything is digital. Everything is that's the new world that we live in. And what you saw with the Versus series is going to change music. It's going to change the way people consume music. Watch. It's already happening right in front of us because success breeds success. Similarly, shout out to Thriller. Or is it, I'm sorry, Triller, not Thriller. That's a Michael Jackson record. Shout out to Triller. A lot of people may not have been hip to Triller. Of course, I am. It's what I do. Basically, that's an app. Okay, it's like a whole new social media platform where you can like download, you can do your own music videos, but you can use actually the music from popular artists. So this was Triller's attempt, and I think it's going to be successful. Have to look at the numbers when they come out to get more visibility for their platform. Think about that. The game done changed. The way that people consume sports is changing. You got so many media platforms out there that are delivering sports content in a way that rivals ESPN, who, by the way, in the last month announced like the most layoffs they've ever announced before. They've never laid off this many people at ESPN. Why? Because they're losing market share. Why? Where are they losing market share? They're losing market share to the internet. Less and less people are going to ESPN on cable, and less people are going to cable, period. It's a whole new world out there. It's a whole new world out there. You're going to see more of it. You're going to see more of it. This is just the beginning. 513-873-7134. The world done changed. The world done changed. It used to be that if you wanted to make it big in the music industry, you had to go straight to like a record company. Now that's been changed for years. Like how many big time artists, I won't even say hip hop, have made it big and they started on the internet like SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube. You can't even count them. The game done changed, y'all. The revolution is now. When I told you many years ago that the revolution would be digitized, I was right. We've all seen it. We're living it right now. Let's go to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Hello, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
It's wonderful to hear. Hey, I'm very sorry to hear about the passing of your grandmother.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and quite honestly, while you were telling that story, I'm sorry to hear. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm also sorry to hear that there appears to be a little bit of a schism somewhere. I'm sorry to hear that as well.
Oh, things happen, man, but appreciate it.
Yeah. As far as Nate Robinson, though, I wasn't surprised that he got whooped on. I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying about conquering your fears and whatnot, and there's some truth to that. There's plenty of truth to that. But like, well, first of all, Jake Paul, what's his name? Jake Paul, Logan Paul?
I thought it was Jake Paul.
Okay, yeah. I seen, well before this fight, I was aware of him, and he's a jerk off. The stuff he does on YouTube or whatever. The way he beat up that old man in the box ring. He does that kind of stuff. But I mean, Nate Robinson, yeah, he's in the NBA, but he's only 5'7". This kid's like 6'1" or 6'2". And let's be honest. Let's be brutally honest. NBA players can't fight. All them punches they be throwing every year, you've never seen none of them land except the year they beat up the fans in Detroit.
You remember?
You know what I'm saying?
You remember Alonzo Mourning got into it with who? Remember that?
Larry Johnson.
With Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson.
Nobody landed a punch.
6'10", throwing punches. Nobody lands. Shaq, 7'1", all the reach in the world, throwing haymakers at Brad Miller's back, missed him. You see what I'm saying? Like these NBA players can't fight. So I'm not surprised that he got whooped. And that's why, and really the truth be told, that's why all the NBA players, they were tweeting, oh, Nate Robinson, you got to represent us better than that. How? Y'all don't represent yourselves well. We see every fight y'all have on SportsCenter. Nobody, not one speck of blood anywhere. But the biggest, strongest athletes in the world are throwing punches. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised by Nate Robinson. I mean, apparently it was a money grab. He liked attention. I was never a fan of him as a basketball player. But I'll give him credit for, I guess, conquering his fears, even though I didn't hear him say that was one of his fears or whatnot. But as the boxing analyst Jim Lampley says, you don't play boxing. You do boxing. You know, you can play basketball, baseball, football. You can't play boxing. You either do it or you don't. So stepping in the ring against that guy who's known on YouTube for being a jerk off, but he does seem to have some type of fighting background. The Paul kid, it was like, Nate, I don't think this is a good idea for you. And besides, like I said, you're 5'7". You're not going to really be able to touch it. You know, you don't have the reach. So, I thought that's what you were going to say when you said the lesson learned from Nate Robinson is don't be playing around with boxing. If that's not the game, you can get killed. You know, Tyson and Roy, if you saw the weigh-in, you knew something was up. They were smiling at each other. Like they were trying to hold back smiles. Like you could see it. You could clearly see that they were trying to hold back laughter and smiles. It was like, Tyson don't do this. What's up with this fight? I definitely ain't watching it now.
Right. Right.
And then true, let's be honest. These were the preeminent fighters of their day, the late 80s and the mid 90s with Roy. I've never seen their bodies like that. That just didn't even look right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Guts hanging over their trunks and whatnot. It was just like, nah, this is not the same guy who was crying in the 89 Olympics because he got the biggest robbery that we've seen in our lifetime. That's not the kid. That's not the guy who I grew up watching. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson wearing his all his
Mayweather in the Olympics?
No, that was Roy Jones.
Right.
The 89 Olympics.
Mayweather
that
got
was like
robbed
the worst.
too in the Olympics, didn't
he? I thought he kind of got beat. Clearly got beat for it and got the bronze, but Roy got robbed in the gold medal fight. The Korean guy was holding up Roy's arm because he knew he got cracked.
Uh-huh.
He knew he was getting whooped, and the Korean judge gave it to the Korean fighter. I believe it was 88 in Seoul, South Korea, or 80, whatever it was. Yeah, that wasn't the guy who I was sitting up feeling sorry for as a 12-year-old. Like, dude, you got dead wrong. But yeah, that's how I got B. Kind of a solemn show today. So I'll holler at you at a future moon. You be well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, people think that if you're good at one sport, you're good at every sport. And that's not true. Boxing, to me, I've never boxed before, but from the outside looking in, that's like a whole different level of conditioning. That's a whole different style. That's a whole different thing over there. Like you try it. You try to box. You try to shadow box for 3 minutes and see what happens. Just shadow box. You ain't even out there with another human being trying to knock you out. Just shadow box for 3 minutes and see what happens. Most people can't jump rope for 3 minutes straight, let alone ducking and faking and dodging and things like that, throwing punches. You understand how tiring that can be just to throw punches? So we got to stop this, man. Then we learned that with Michael Jordan. Just because you're good in the NBA don't mean you're good at every sport. It means you're good in the NBA. So I'm not saying I was super fan of Nate Robinson, but you know me, I like the underdogs. And to me at 5'7", Nate Robinson was always an underdog in a league full of giants. So I used to rock. I used to pull for the dude. And he has skills. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Ivey and the good people of Cincinnati, as well as the good people around the world. And yes, those choppers. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Hey, good morning to you. I'm doing great, John. from Florida.
Yes.
How are you?
Interesting flows with you and Drop just now. Before we get into...
You say Drop? No, that was Fame.
Oh, Fame. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Interesting flows. But before we get into the national topics, you were talking about, I got suckered into that fight the last minute, and I dropped the digits to watch it.
They got you.
I thought Tyson won that fight. He was more aggressive. He was hitting the mark. This guy Roy Jones, and looked like he was running out of gas. I think the third round, he looked like he was ready to go, and he held on. He wasn't fighting. But I understand it was an exhibition fight, so they weren't real. The judges were just playing games, or was it that they were setting it up for another big payday? And do you remember? Tell me if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Was that the purse? 70-80% of that purse were going to charity or something? Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything about where the purse is going. I can look it up real quick while you're on the line, but I don't remember that. You could be true. Yeah,
that's what I thought I heard, and they both was in agreement with it. I don't know how much of the purse, but supposedly a lot of the money were going to their usual charities, whoever the charities was, which is interesting. I mean, come on, Nate. I mean, if somebody tells you to do an exhibition and you go into training for about 3 to 4 weeks, prepare for this fight, and Tyson was hitting like he was the Tyson of 20 or 30 years ago. I mean, Roy Jones had to hold on and basically was trying to save himself for dear life. Some of my friends were saying, they were just playing patty cake. I said, I don't think Tyson was doing that. Tyson was looking to knock this guy out,
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It went the rounds, but let's just say Roy Jones just held on for dear life. He was running out of gas. I think that third round, and I'm surprised he even held up that long. Every time he went to the bench, he was breathing so hard, I thought the guy was going to pass out or something. But I guess if you want to call it entertaining, fine. Okay, fine. Yes, go ahead.
Here's what I'm reading. I'm reading that they were each of the men, Jones and Tyson, were guaranteed $1 million. That's a nice little payday.
Wow.
After taxes, we come home with like what, $475, something like that. That ain't bad.
Yeah.
And then Tyson, from what I'm reading, said that he's going to donate his payout to charity. So I didn't read that from Jones. Jones like, I'm taking that money. I ain't mad at him. Would you fight Tyson for $1 million?
Yeah, I'll be running. I can't, like Jones, I'll be running. Catch me if you can, Tyson. If I got to go 8 rounds, I'll be running. I'm not going to let him clock me with one of those punches. But for $1 million, I would give it some thought, but I'd be running. I'd be like Sugar Ray Leonard. But what troubles me the most, the rapper that was on there, what's his name?
Snoop.
Snoop. He was entertaining. He was very good.
I've heard that.
He was very entertaining. I mean, you can go to YouTube and see the whole fight, because right after the fight was over, the next morning it was posted fast. But Snoop was very good. Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm like, what is he there for? He's not saying nothing. I mean, every time the announcer, the guy in the middle that was Sugar Ray a question, he would cut Sugar Ray off. It's like Sugar Ray was, I guess he's getting paid to be there, but he couldn't even get a couple of words in, and the guy cut him off. And Sugar Ray, okay, fine, I'll just sit here, man, no problem. You gonna pay me? I'll be here. But I thought that was the way. But other than that, it was just one of those entertaining, or I guess we got suckered. Some of us got. I think I paid $55 or $50.
You paid for the experience, John. You paid for the experience, that live virtual experience, and you got it.
Well, now the undercards, for some people that watched those 4 or 5 fights, they were good. Now that was good. That was good. If you stayed up to wait for Tyson to come on, you had to hit the undercards, which were very good fights. So I guess that 55 was worth the money. I posted the fight on my website, so anybody that didn't see the fight, you can go to purehistory.org. I posted it on the site, so you get it for free. I'm not charging you. Okay, let's get to the national news, Mr. Nathan Ivey. Now, I like to know a couple of things. Maybe you can answer me. Were you happy with Biden's latest this morning 6 women press secretary pick? Are you comfortable with that? Did you see a little diversity snippered into these women historical press secretary picks? Are you comfortable with that?
I would be more comfortable if there was at least one man. I mean, I'm glad to see that, you know, there's diversity, gender diversity, but there's no man on the communications team. To me, I think that's a mistake. I also saw that Simone Sanders, there was some rumors that she might be the White House press secretary. She's not. Instead, she's going to be like a VP communications advisor, something like that. He went with a white female, which I think is interesting. I mean, because here we are trying to get diversity, and the White House press secretary will be up in front of the world. You know, that person will be the face of the administration. And I also know that Clyburn down in South Carolina is, I'm not going to say he's upset, but he's voiced his disappointment in the lack of diversity in terms of black folks that are getting big time jobs in so far in the Biden administration.
Well, you're right. On Friday evening, Mr. Clyburn put some heat, I guess, sent the word out through the press that he's not happy with Biden's first couple of picks, and probably over the weekend gave him enough time to pick, as you mentioned, Miss Simone. She is the, I think she's the top assistant to Harris. I think that position she has, she's the press secretary for Harris, so she'll be working closely with Harris doing that pick. And the other sister, I see her on MSNBC. I see her on there a lot often. What's that, Onyx, that group that she works for? And now, these picks, do they got to step down out of their jobs, or those jobs are just on hold?
I would imagine that you'll probably leave your job to go work in the new administration. So maybe it's a situation when you work for yourself, you'll put that on hold, or if you have partners, they'll take over that work, because, you know, being a part of a presidential administration is a big time career booster. That's a hell of a resume booster. So if they're working for other people, they'll probably step away and or go on leave or whatever, and then come back later.
And can you explain to me, what the heck is this idiot Cruz down here in Florida talking about last week when Biden made his first couple of picks? Like, oh, look at these guys, they're Ivy League, you know, they should be. What the heck is he talking about? I mean, this guy, he didn't say nothing when Trump made those stupid picks that he made 3 years ago. What was that about? This guy, I don't understand why these Cubans put this guy in office. Him and Ted Cruz out there in Texas, a bunch of doofuses, and allegedly, they're running in 24. They're going to run too. Are they kidding me? You know, it's bad enough Trump. I bet you Biden cannot wait for Trump to leave the White House. He won't get a job as a dog catcher. He better just, probably going to have, they're going to tell Trump as he walks out of the White House or get into the helicopter, put the handcuffs on. Those federal, allegedly, Biden is not. I'm sure you saw that Lester Holt interview last week, that hour interview, and one of the questions that Lester Holt asked Biden was, what are you going to do with the federal charges with Trump as soon as he leaves the White House? And the first thing out of Biden's mouth is, I don't have time to deal with these right now. This is the second time Biden made these statements, but that Lester Holt interview, he indicated, I'm not dealing with the federal charges, but I have no control over those state charges that are coming down the pipeline. Well, that's nice and gravy, but Mr. Nathan Ivey, how do you let a madman, a Genghis Khan, a Hitler, a Mussolini, how do you let a guy leave the White House that has killed over the numbers are higher, people, than what you see on local TV. Over 300,000 people dead, over 13 million people connected with the virus. People are out of work. The country is shut down as quietly as they want to keep it. How do you let a madman get on the street and not come up with federal charges? Explain that to me, Mr. Nathan Ivey.
Well, and John, thanks for the call, man. I got to make a move. It's the same way you feel so strongly about Trump and felt so strongly, but yet you didn't vote in both elections. Same way. Well, let me move on here. Appreciate the call. That's John from Florida on that black man. Oh, hurts my motherfucking nerves. How you gonna let this? You had an opportunity to vote. You ain't even vote. You ain't even vote. That's John from Florida. He's incorrigible. You know, I'm not going to say I've given up. I just accept him for what he is. He's never going to vote. And that's okay. That's okay. That's his prerogative. 513-873-7134. I want to move on. I want to talk about a Black Lives Matter activist who helped lead the Louisville marches was shot dead. Have you heard about this? His name is Travis Nagdy. Travis Nagdy. And apparently he was a leader down there in Louisville in the Black Lives Matter movement. Led a lot of protests. I'll put his image up on the screen for people to see in a second. But apparently he was gunned down last week. And the preliminary reports are it was like some kind of carjacking or something like that. 21 years old, was rushed to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. And of course, some of his supporters, family, and other supporters in the community have raised about $30,000. This was as of last week of Wednesday. Quote, he was an inspirational leader, his sister wrote. You hear about this? And apparently this young brother stepped up and took on a leadership position after what happened with Breonna Taylor. And I've seen many images of him. Apparently he was instrumental in leading those protests and perhaps even the movement down there. And he turns up mysteriously shot. Again, the preliminary reports are that it was some kind of carjacking or something like that, a drive-by. But initially I'm thinking that don't even smell right. That don't even smell right. Of all the people in Louisville that get caught up, this brother get caught up? Okay. But let's say it is true. Let's say this brother, Travis Nagdy, was killed. Let's say, because things can happen. Let's say it was a coincidence. I mean, the irony of that is amazing. I mean, just stop for a second and let's say, for the sake of conversation, that the preliminary reports about the death of Travis Nagdy are true. And that this brother was the victim of like some old black on black type of thing, right? The irony of this brother out there marching for Black Lives Matter, and then his own black life didn't matter, has to be talked about. I mean, at the very least, it has to be talked about. I mean, think about that for a second. I mean, all the images I saw, he had these Black Lives Matter t-shirts on and, you know, was really out there trying to, you know, let people know what's going on. Hold on, let me put this up here. He got in this image I'm going to use right here, he's got a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on. You know, justice for Breonna Taylor. He's out here trying to raise awareness about black lives, and yet his own black life didn't matter. Now, I'll be honest with you. My spider sense is tingling when it comes to this case. I don't know if I really believe this. Here's the image of the brother right here. You might have seen him. He was gunned down, rushed to the hospital about a week ago. And again, the initial reports are that it was like some old drive-by carjacking, but his wallet wasn't taken and his car wasn't stolen. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't trust mofos out here. I don't trust you. As soon as you step up and stand out, you become a target. So all the go folks out there that want to hit the streets, you want to raise awareness and you're going to challenge the system, you put a target on your back. And no way am I trying to dissuade you. We need those kind of people that's courageous and tearless and fearless like that. But I'm just telling you. I'm just saying, something just don't sit right when I heard about this. Of all the people in Louisville, this brother ends up being the victim of some kind of mysterious violence. Don't steal his wallet. Don't steal his car. I don't know if I'm buying that. Y'all heard about this? You can Google it. You can Google it right now and check it out for yourself. I don't know if I'm buying this. I don't know if I'm buying this. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it's mysterious. Like, if it's noteworthy and conversation worthy, and we should talk about it to the nth degree. Like, if in fact the preliminary reports are true that this brother became the victim of some random act of violence, the irony is that he's out here in the streets raising awareness about Black Lives Mattering, and his own Black life didn't matter. Statistically speaking, if it went down like that, we already know who was probably more likely the perpetrator. You know, in this country, you're far more likely to fall victim, be a victim of violence by a member of your own race. I remember people out there on Facebook and social media saying, well, if Black Lives Matter, well, why are we killing each other? I've always said they got a point. We should discuss that. This brother out here fighting for Black Lives Mattering, and that his own Black life didn't matter. If in fact that's the truth. If it's not the truth, you already know. You already know. Do I buy this? My spider sense is going off about this Travis Nagney stuff. It's just the coincidence of all the people in Louisville to be the victim of a carjacking. This brother's the victim of a carjacking? Mm-hmm. They had a public viewing of his body, a public memorial. It was a candlelit visual. Hundreds of people were there. I'm looking at the images right now at the Louisville Courier-Journal's website. Hundreds of people were there. Apparently, he was very well known during Louisville's Breonna Taylor's demonstrations. Anybody from Louisville? What are you hearing? Your insights always open. Always welcome. Some damn shame. R.I.P. to that brother. Again, apparently he was out there trying to do the right thing for his community. And this is the thanks he gets. If in fact he was killed in some random act of violence, it was probably, I'm going to go out and say it on a limb, just statistically speaking, probably another brother who probably didn't know who he was and what he was doing. If he did, didn't care. I got to say it. That's a very, very damn shame down there. And from everything I'm reading, he was much respected and loved in Louisville. And this is the thanks he gets? If in fact that's true. Again, my spider sense is tingling like crazy, like Thanos is about to open a portal somewhere, right? I don't believe none of that. It's all too convenient for me. But what do you think? Let me go to the Chop Shop family this morning. Let me go over to my Spreaker family. Tony writes, good morning. Hey, good to see you, Tony. Drop writes, get to the choppers. Let me see. I still do have that. Kind of switch things up a little bit here. You see me going to my left now. CG Dub writes, good morning, choppers. Good morning to you, CG Dub. Pamela writes, good morning, Nathan and choppers. Good morning to you, Pamela. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the choppers. Happy Monday. Yes, it is. Deborah writes, snow, good morning. Is it snowing already? I've got my window blocked because the light was just coming in and washing me away. And also for some sound. I know we're expecting snow. I see a little something. Oh, okay. I see the snow. A little snow coming. I love it. I love it. You know, it's going to be a pain in the you-know-what for people that got to travel, but I'm just so blessed to be here to see the snow. I'm going to go outside and play in the yard with my son. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag Team and I. Drop writes, for all the healthy eaters, Pinterest. Okay, appreciate it. CG Dub writes, cyber hugs, Nate. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that. I think it's because of the news of my grandmother. Again, I just found out this morning. I just found it on Facebook, of all the places. And I'm not sore about it or at all. You know, when you make certain decisions, you got to deal with the consequences. And I'm willing to do that, no matter what it is, till death. But I did find out. I won't go through the whole story, but I shared just some of my fondest memories of my grandmother. A tremendous black woman. Tremendous black woman. You know, my grandmothers and my mother were part of the reason why, and again, this is just me. I ain't hating on nobody, but this is just me. are part, I think they're a very big part of it. I've never sat down and analyzed it, but it just makes sense. But just seeing the role that my mother, Chairman Mom, that my grandparents, my grandmother on my mother's and father's side, the role modeling that they did for me. What is this right here? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. Biden-Harris transition. Yeah. Thank you so much. There's no men on the team. And how you going to communicate with half of the population that are men and you ain't got no men on the team? Like, it's all great. And again, for a lot of women, they're going to be like, well, for how long has it been all men and no women? Probably for far too long. But I would have liked to have seen at least one man on the team. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. And I wish it was a black man. Y'all might like it or don't like it. That's how I feel about it. If you got a problem with it, 513-873-7134. But shout out to all these women. I'm sure they were chosen because they bring a lot to the table. I was looking for Simone Sanders to be the White House spokesperson. Why? Because that job is so up front and center. You really are the front door for the White House in a lot of ways. The front door, the spokesperson for the president. Is it too much? Have we ever had a black White House press secretary? I mean, even Obama didn't have that. So I get it. It's cool. Happy repping for the women 100%. I'm just about to talk about the role that black females played in my own life. But the point I was going to make real quick and I'll move on was that I believe, and I haven't analyzed too deeply on this, I'm just giving you my gut thoughts, but the role modeling, the role that these tremendous black women played in my own life, I think had a heavy factor into why, I remember going to college. I wasn't planning on getting married, but if I got married, I was going to marry a black woman. And a lot of that in my head was the women that were in my family. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Now, I know millennials and Generation Z, whatever, might feel differently. I ain't hating on you for what you do. I'm talking about me. Okay, that was tremendous in my own head. I'm sorry, I'm reading text messages here. Appreciate you. Hold on, I got to go to my text message people as well, so I can read your messages. Good morning to you. Yes, to all my people, the winners, I wasn't obviously able to get those sweatshirts to you. My plans to get those to you by the end of the week, and I'm going to hand deliver it to you. I got boxes for you, some thank you cards, so you're all set. I just got to get it to you. So had some things happen on the weekend. I wasn't able to make that move the way I planned, but they are here. I do have them. I have everyone's address, at least the address that you gave me, and I will hand deliver it to you. I want to do that special. That means something to me. Tracy writes, hi, where's the snow? Well, looks like there's a little snow coming out right now. Sharp writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Welcome to the last week of November. What should we expect from December? Man, 2020's been a hell of a year. It's been a hell of a year. It's a year that we'll never forget. I don't know. I can tell you one thing about December. Is that if you haven't already told your kids and grandkids that there is no Santa Claus, you should do that ish today. Do it today. Stop lying. Ray writes, Grand Risings all. Cassandra's in the house, a.k.a. Storm. She writes, hey, Choppers. I'm going to stop messing with you. Drop writes, Tracy FC, it's climate change. There you go. Pat writes, good morning. King Kobla writes, morning. I'm convinced I'll be going back to school at Tyson University. Okay. Miss D writes, greetings. Brother Muzone writes, good morning. If you don't know what that name comes from, then something's wrong with you need get your cultural game together. One of the best, if not the best television series of all time. Of all time. Tracy writes, we are getting 3 inches today. Drop. It's on the way. Come visit. Brother Mazone writes, Nate, if you got a Fire Stick, you can download an app to watch pay-per-view for free. Really? I do have a Fire Stick. Really? Which one? Hit me with a direct message, Brother Mazone. Really? If I could have watched it for free, would I have watched it? I might have. I didn't pay for it. I think Fame, he kind of caught my thoughts. I don't want to watch these old flabby nigwas fake boxing. I didn't want to see that. I'm just be honest with you. I saw Tyson pay-per-view in his prime when he was like scaring you, like that mofo scary. I saw Jones in his prime. It was tremendous. I kind of want to remember them that way. But we all virtually shut in. Internet is what's popping right now. And I thought it was a great event from what I've seen so far. Now, eventually I'll probably check it out. But from what I'm picking up on it from a media standpoint, it was an absolutely great event. Smart, intelligent people are going to recreate that and do their own things. I thought it was great. From a media standpoint. People are saying that the real MVP was Snoop. Again, I can't give you any insights. I didn't see it, but props to Snoop. Anybody watch that No Jumper podcast? Whew, man, Snoop likes cocaine. Apparently, Snoop likes to snort cocaine off the backside of women that he pays to fly into Los Angeles. He got a little space he go to. And he likes to snort cocaine off their buttocks before they have intercourse. Yeah, and he's married. Hey, do you? You're a superstar. You can do stuff like that. I ain't hating on him now. I just thought it was interesting. Yeah, Snoop is a hell of a commentator. He had me in tears. That's great. Yeah, I mean, the guy's obviously very multi-talented. Very multi-talented. Brought to us by the hip-hop generation. Pam writes, good morning, all. Made it to Phoenix. My new home. Swan last night. Sunny and high of 72 expected today. Well, Pam, I did see that on Facebook. I'm glad you got there. I'm glad that you're safe. I hope you have a wonderful new life in Phoenix. I know you're going to be tremendous and successful in whatever you do. I'm loving your Facebook group, even though I'm not in it all the time. I know you're doing your thing for the ladies out there. I think it's tremendous. And damn, we lost that. Why are we losing all these good people, man? Phoenix? If I ever come through Phoenix, I mean this, Pam, if I ever go through Phoenix, I'm going to hit you up. Because I just feel like we close. We've been together on this show for a long, long, long time. I know you support me 100% and I support you 100%. And damn. Now, is your sister in Phoenix too? Because I know your sister had moved away as well. Is she in Phoenix? So you guys are reunited. That's special. But that's great, man. That's a whole new adventure. I'm here for that. Yeah, you don't got to stay in one city. Move. See the world. See the country. Tell us all about it. And then, maybe when we come through Phoenix one day, we can stop and connect with Pam face to face. That would be fabulous. Pam's doing big things. Viva la Pam. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Nathan, it's Tracy. How are you?
I'm doing great, Tracy. Good morning.
First of all, condolences about your grandmother. I know how special grandmothers are. I lost mine 2 years ago, and I still think about her quite often. So prayers to your family. I'm asking permission to change the subject slightly real quick if I can.
For you, obviously, of course. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Last night, or early this morning, I can't remember. I made a post on my page. There was a party in Lower Manhattan where 400 people gathered and the police had to come and shut it down. I just can't fathom in my mind what it's going to take for people to take this virus seriously. Now, you can believe it's a hoax if you want to. That's all well and fine, but the numbers don't lie. And I'm sure that we all know somebody that has had the virus, even somebody who might have died from the virus, albeit in your family or a friend of a friend. I heard this morning that our governor is supposed to be saying today that we're going back to postponing elective surgeries because that's how full the hospitals are. And I'm just like, what is it going to take? That's what I keep asking myself. I mean, does it SHIT not get real until it hits you? I don't know. I don't want to be judgmental. I don't want to point the finger, but the way I see it, it's just like coronavirus is never going to end because people have this mentality like, well, I'm just going to live my life and I'm going to do what I want to do. And I don't know, 400 people at a party, at a club, and then those same people would turn around and talk about Donald Trump holding super spreaders. Well, what do you think that is? It's the same thing. So I just had to get on my little soapbox this morning and rant about that, because I can't believe that people are still doing this. So it is what it is. I guess I'll just keep staying in the house.
Tracy, thanks for the call.
All right.
Yeah, most def. Now you already know how I feel about it. So y'all lucky I ain't in charge. Because if I was in charge, we would have been locked down through all of this. And if I was a governor, I would have did what was right by the people, even if it cost me a second term. Now you want to, if she's right, she's saying that the governor of Ohio is going to start, he's going to go back to say that now we can't do elective surgeries. Well, if he had the backbone that it takes to be a leader, in my opinion, like I said, when you're a leader, not everyone's going to like every move that you make, but you got to do what's right. You got to do what's right by the people. And again, if it costs you a second term as governor, if you know you did the right thing, then so be it. You just won't be a second term governor. But I feel like Mike DeWine has no spine, trying to make everybody happy. Listen. When we're dealing with a pandemic and the threat of death, all them feelings and I feel a certain way, you put that to the side and you do what needs to be done, period. You figure out, you create support systems for the people that need it, but you do what you gotta do, period. Period. I don't care about how many emails you get. I don't care about how many death threats you get. You do what needs to be done that you know is right by the people. I don't have a problem with that. If I feel like there's something that's the right thing to do, it don't matter what anybody says. It don't matter what the consequences are. Then that's what I'm going to do. Period. And if it costs you a second term, let's say you're a first term elected official, then so be it. I was elected to do the right thing. And that's what I'm going to do. It might be tough. Leadership is tough. Leadership is difficult. But you got to do what's right by the people. Mike DeWine has not done what's right by the people. Now we got to go back and forth, flip-flopping back and forth. That's why I'll say it again. All these parents that were sending messages, complaining and whining about CPS, you decide to have those children. If you're not prepared to take care of the children, don't have them. And yes, that includes the unforeseen. Let me tell you something. If there is an unforeseen, let's say, natural catastrophe tomorrow, nobody knew it was going to happen. You responsible. We're going to have to buckle up. Each one teach one, support as much as possible, and get through this pandemic. Because like what Tracy said, if we keep playing around with it, it's never going to go away. Damn it, people. Sometimes you got to tighten up. It's like momentary. It's like temporary, should I say, sacrifice for the long-term gain and good. Sometimes you got to make a temporary sacrifice because down the road, you can see a brighter day. No wonder most folks can't save no money out here because everybody want to spend it, want it right now. You don't get everything right now. You can't have it all. You can't go to the party and still not spread COVID. You can't do it. That's why I said, I don't want it to happen. You know, we was looking forward to our son going to school. That'd be much easier on some levels. He's at school every day. But we got to do what we got to do. Same thing with these businesses. I know a bunch of folks that are black restaurateurs or black owners of restaurants, bars, and things like that. And non-black. I feel for all of you. But if they got to shut it down, homie, to stop the spread of this coronavirus, then that's what the hell we need to do, because we can't do two things at once. Like, there are some things you can do at the same time. There's some things you can't do at the same time. Trying to stop the spread of COVID while everybody's out here footloose dancing and drinking at the parties with no mask on, we can't do that. It is what it is. Simple as that. There was an earthquake in Cincinnati. There might be businesses that are destroyed. We don't want that to happen. It was a natural occurrence. It's the same thing with COVID. Obviously, nobody wants the business, the nightlife industry to be affected. Obviously, we don't want restaurants to shut down, but it's a natural occurrence. It is what it is. We are where we are. You're going to have to do what you got to do. Period. I don't have no tears for it. I don't have no patience for it at this point. Because all this run around hurt feelings is going to get people killed. It's going to cost people, human beings, their lives. Because everybody run around here trying to say the right thing and be nice about it. Oh, no. If he got to shut it down, shut it down. It is what it is. If you want to have weddings, you can't put off a wedding. But you're afraid he's going to leave you? You're afraid she's going to leave you? You can't put a wedding off until after COVID? If ever there was a time to do a virtual party, it's right now, mofos. Don't even get me started with this, man. You're going to rev me back up again because you know how I feel about this. And I know some people don't like it because we're supposed to be worried about feelings, but that's what got us here to this point. Y'all don't want me to be the leader in an apocalyptic America because some of you going to make it and some of you not. And it is what it is. We got to go with the majority. Whatever that is. I'm telling you. Simple as that. We got 3 bags of food and 5 people. 2 of y'all ain't eating. It is what it is. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But let me stop talking about this. Okay? Because she's going to trigger me. I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about this, and I don't want to do that. You know how I feel about it. I blame Mike DeWine because he has no spine. Simple as that. And I blame all these complainers. I don't want to wear a mask. I got asthma. You got asthma? You got asthma? Mofo, it's going to be much worse. I've got COPD. I smoked my whole life. Well, who told you to smoke your whole life? Oh, well, Captain. You knew that was a bad decision. I've got COPD. I can't breathe. I can't wear a mask. Well, stay at home. Period. I don't want to hear your sob story. You know what I'm saying? You can just write it in the clouds. Oh, yeah, I see it. A sob story. And we can just keep on going on with our lives. Period. I don't want to hear it. It's going to be difficult. My kids are at home. It's hard for everybody. You're going to have to do what you got to do, mom and dad. Period. Please share these flows. Please share these flows. Please share these flows this morning because somebody needs to hear these flows. I got an 873 number coming in. I'm going to put you on hold. 873 number, I'm putting you on hold, okay? Because I had another call in front of you, and I want to take the call that was in front of you first. Okay, so now we don't have the 873 number. Okay. I ain't even sure what we're doing no more. I had Drop on the line. I was trying to come to him. We had an 873 number. Listen, whoever calls back in, I'll put you on first. Simple as that. Drop. No disrespect. I wasn't trying to ignore your phone call. You know I love your phone calls, brother, but I was on one for a second. I blame. Okay, now I got a 258 number calling in, so we'll take that number. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Nathan Ivey Show? This is B.
Hey, what up, B? What up, brother?
How you doing?
Doing well.
Not much. Yeah. What I like to say about people who say, "Oh, they can't wear the mask," is they can wear a face shield. They got these face shields that look like welders' face, like the type of shield that welders put on.
I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
So they ain't got no excuse.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I also wanted to bring to your attention, I'm into soccer, so I think it started last season, toward the end of last season, right after George Floyd and all that started to occur. Before each game, both teams and the coaches would kneel, and they had like Black Lives Matter printed on their jerseys and all this. So, and they're still doing it. So big ups to them for at least putting awareness out there.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I have seen it. Yeah, I have seen it. You know, cool. I'm down with some social messaging, you know, when it comes to professional sports. I love it.
Right. Just to think a few years ago, Kaepernick caught hell for doing that, but now we have a whole leagues, albeit in a different sport, participating in that. So it's good to see the change, or it's good to see the awareness out there.
Yeah, I mean, we need more from that. We need more than just, you know, them putting Black Lives Matter. I think it's great. I think the players should be allowed to express themselves and reflect what's happening with their fan base in the audience. I think that's great. I don't understand why the NFL even tried to stop the players. I think it was a mistake. They made it bigger than what it really had to be. The players want to go out there and kneel, let them kneel. Big deal. Then they get to the game, nobody remembers what they did before the game. To me, it was no big deal. They made it bigger and worse than it ever had to be in terms of the NFL. I will say that I'm disappointed in the NBA because they had Black Lives Matter on the floor of the game. But then I'm reading that when the season starts back up this year, they're not going to do that. They're going to go away from that. I'm like, wait a minute, Black Lives don't matter now? One season later?
Right.
You know, I think they should do it moving forward. Period.
Agreed. How long do they do that for?
They did it for
a few months?
They did it for a few months, yep. While they were in the bubble, they did it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did they do it before the bubble? They might have did it before the bubble, if I remember correctly. You know, I'll be honest with you, B, I don't remember. So let me just put it that way. I can't recall, but I know they did it while they were in the bubble.
Gotcha. Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Yep. You have a good one.
You too, man. That's B. Checking in. Always great to see him. See his name come up on the screen there. 513-873-7134. My mission is simple. Amplify Black voices. It's the reason why I created CDM and the work that I'm doing, amplifying so many great talented people. And if you'd like to support that mission, hey, good morning to you. If you'd like to support that mission via Cash App, there's my Cash App right there. I'm going to create one for Sin Digital Media. Because again, every dollar goes straight back into CDM as we build this out. Help us compete and grow. If you want to make a one-time donation, I appreciate it in advance. If you like this kind of show, if you like the kind of podcast that we're producing, then please share. And this is just the beginning. I keep telling that to people. This is just the beginning. What we do next will be very, very, very interesting. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you got back in, man.
Hey, Mr. Ivey, you know I know how the game works because you blowing up so much, it's just I ain't gonna be on hold. You already know I'm paying for this call, and I'll give you 5 minutes to spew. And you was on one this morning. Mr. Ivey, you had me so captivated with your last little rant about coronavirus. I was on hold for 7 minutes and I forgot. I'm like, this Negro. So I hung up
My apologies
and let my man B get in. But it's all good though, Mr. Ivey. But Mr. Ivey, the reason I'm calling is, again, the Biden-Harris administration is the topic of the day. We need to tell some people, especially the ones that go by the name of Mr. Cleophas, to stop talking about Trump. Trump is irrelevant. Anything Trump is doing right now, just throw it in the lame duck category, okay? So, Mr. Cleophas, STFU, okay? And move on, because we are about to witness Joseph R. Biden, the 46th president of the United States, will be the first emasculated administration. Mr. Ivey, this is ridiculous that there are no strong Black men up front in this administration. This is ridiculous, Mr. Ivey, that there's no masculine symbol that the Biden-Harris administration, at least up to this point, that they're going to present to the American males out there, Black and white, who are in this cultural struggle with gender identity, no male guidance at home, no male positive role models on TV. They wearing black men wearing dresses. And it's like, okay, Biden, Sleepy Joe, who's already fallen and can't get up. You heard about that, right, Mr. Ivey?
I read that he twisted his ankle while playing with his dog.
They claim, and we know good damn well, he didn't fall playing with his dog, Mr. Ivey. But that's another topic. But this will be the first emasculated administration. Because at this point, Mr. Ivey, all the names that we're hearing so far are all women. Okay? His chief of staff is a white guy from the Democrat, what do they call that? The deep state or the whoever you want to call it, from the old structure. And then he picks a white woman who was Obama's press secretary, Jan Psaki, or no, she was the State Department. She was the State Department press secretary during the Biden last term. So Jan Psaki is the press secretary. And again, they pushed the black women, Simone and the last black woman that he hired. I can't think of her name. I always forget her name. It's like a French Jean-Pierre or something. They give them irrelevant communications titles. And the press secretary for Kamala Harris is a black woman, or at least she looks black. She could be Arab. I'm not sure, but the picture was black and white, so she looks black. But she's obviously light-skinned like Valerie Jarrett. But Mr. Ivey, again, I'm coining the phrase right now on this Monday, the last Monday in November, that the 46th president of the United States administration will be the emasculated administration. It is ridiculous. It is unacceptable. And I guarantee you're going to have some black people out there in the old and the new media that they're going to start talking. Because something ain't right. Because with the emergence of the young black males in this country leaning toward the Republican Party, I ain't going to mention his name because I just said he's irrelevant. But you have black men that voted Republican in this last election. And then we see not even Cory Booker, not one masculine male figure for the black man. Mr. Ivey, it's the black family that's struggling out here in these streets, putting all this burden and heavy weight on these sisters out here to raise these young, wild, and crazy black men. But we got people like you, Mr. Ivey. You are a role model. Your voice is being heard by some of these young men, but they've been talking about, oh, president this, president that. Oh, he got to be this, he got to be that. Well, Mr. President, Sleepy Joe Biden, who's fallen and can't get up, where are the brothers at? That's all I got, Mr. Ivey. You got anything for me?
Nah, man. So you got your game plan, huh? You said the first emasculated presidency, huh? Okay.
The first emasculated presidency with the man behind the curtain pulling the strings, and we know who he is. The first shadow president, the third term for Barack Hussein Obama. I hear you, Barack. Do your thing, brother. Get your third term. But still, we need some brothers up there. Why ain't no brothers on the wall, Nate? Drop Squad 52. Dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Let's get this show going.
Appreciate the call, man. Yeah, that's going to be a big topic, and also today, and I think it's starting to come out now, Biden is going to announce like some of the key members of his economic team. People are watching. Black people are watching. Men are watching. Women are watching. Everyone's watching to see because it matters. You talked about diversity. We know for a fact that black people helped to deliver and save his candidacy during the primary down in South Carolina. What are they going to get out of it? What are black folks going to get out of it? They need something. They need something. I'll be honest with you. When I first read and heard it, I mean, it struck me that there were no men at all. But, you know, there's a lot of women that'll say, and I disagree with this on some levels, just in terms of it being the best way to go forward. A lot of women will look at it and say, it's about time, because for how long do we have all men who are a part of these White House, you know, communication teams? You're right about that. And I think that's maybe a sign of discrimination. But does one extreme necessarily mean that we got to go to the other extreme? Do you think that the White House will be less effective in terms of communicating with the country if no men are a part of the process? Some will say yes, some will say no. Brother Jop right there had a problem with the fact that there was no black man front and center. I agree with that. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan Ivey. This is Kelly Prather. How are you?
Hey, Kelly. Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Hopefully you had an amazing weekend. I just kind of want to, I guess, affirm or reiterate what your last caller said. We definitely need black men to be in positions of power. And one of your, your cohorts, or Marla in Fast Pictures, she did an amazing show on, and the question that was posed is, are black men politically homeless? And we talked a lot. We talked about this extensively. What happened is, based on affirmative action, you know, the black woman meets two quotas. We're black and we're a woman. And so while they were empowering, and when I say they, I mean society, while they were empowering the black woman, they were demonizing the black man. And a couple of years ago, it was interesting that 800%, that the increased population of women was up 800%, while at the same time, the black women were getting more PhDs than any other population. And so when I looked at that, I said, well, what has happened is because so many black men have been incarcerated, they don't have anyone else to come for. And so now they're also coming for the black woman. But I thank God that more of us were doing the right things and, just educating ourselves and understanding that once we're in certain fields, because we're going to continue to be challenged, we know that we have to make ourselves better and better. And so we were getting PhDs. You know, we were working towards our PhDs. But that was an excellent comment by your last caller. And I'm telling you, you are working with some powerhouses as far as people who you're putting out here. Marla and the Fast Pictures, that show is great. And so every time I see it in digital media, even with Truth to Power, that T. Nicole Taylor and Joe Mallory, and I want to send a very special shout out to now President-elect Joe Mallory of the Cincinnati NAACP and first Vice President-elect T. Nicole Taylor. So I'm proud of them. They do a great job, and I'm happy that they will be running the NAACP, Cincinnati branch of the NAACP. But yeah, so I just wanted to reiterate that the comments that were made by your previous caller were so on point. But that is a discussion that we definitely need to have, because we need black men in positions of power, because you all are the strongest people on the face of the earth. But what has happened is society has demoralized and demonized black men to the point where some black men don't even see their worth. And for different reasons, they're not as engaged as we need all of you to be. But real quick, I know that I've been kind of long-winded. Nate, my heart continues to weigh extremely heavy on what's going on in Cincinnati City Hall. You know, I know that Tamaya was sentenced last week, and every time I think about that woman spending 18 months, every time I think about her possibly spending 18 hours in prison, hurts my heart, because she is one of the youngest members. She was one of the youngest members of Cincinnati City Council, and they targeted her. And let me tell you, this scandal was all devised by Mayor John Cranley and Vice Mayor Christopher Smitherman. I have friends who work in different parts of government, and ironically, what had happened is Sharon Coolidge, who was one of the worst journalists, she's one of the worst journalists in the Cincinnati Enquirer. Christopher Smitherman leaked text messages to Sharon Coolidge, who in turn gave text messages or gave information to Brian Schreiber and worked with the Finney law firm to put this information out here and to then prosecute the Gang of Five. And so this corruption was all devised by Mayor John Cranley and Vice Mayor Christopher Smitherman. And so he decided not to run for mayor because he knows that at the end of the day, when the FBI gets a hold of all this information and gets to the root of the problem, they're going to be called forward for their actions too. And I was talking about this on my Twitter feed. My Twitter handle is KP for the people. I've talked about this forever, and this is something that you definitely need to take a look at. If Tamaya goes down, if Jeff goes down, if PG goes down, Vice Mayor Christopher Smitherman and John Cranley need to go down because they devised this scandal. Ironically, when Christopher Smitherman, now I did mention the Cincinnati branch of the NAACP. When Christopher Smitherman was president of the NAACP, Christopher Finney of the Finney law firm was the legal redress chair for the NAACP. And so I said this all along. They put Christopher Smitherman back on city council to be the lynchman for the Republican Party and for the Finney law firm. And he was incentivized. He and his family have been incentivized with these development projects. Christopher Finney recused himself as of 2018. He had recused himself more than 45 times because there was a conflict of interest. If you look at all these development projects around the city, Nathan, his brother, Jostin is on so many of these projects, and people are struggling, can't even get subcontract work, and that is unconscionable. People are going out of business because they are monopolizing the resources. And so, again, Christopher Smitherman is being incentivized. He's being incentivized to monopolize, to push for 3CDC, Christopher Finney, and whatever projects he's involved in. And then also, now, I don't even want to touch on this right now because with him being the law and public safety chair, there's some major issues with that. And so the FBI really needs to take a look at it, especially as it relates to these unsolved murders. But I'll call back tomorrow and talk about that. But like I said, if PG goes down, if Jeff goes down, if Tamaya goes down, Cranley and Smitherman also need to go down with them, and Jay Kincaid. So, like I said, this has been weighing extremely heavy on my heart. When I came back to Cincinnati, I was trying to figure out what happened. And so now that I'm able to connect the dots, if we're looking at cleaning out City Hall, weeding out the bad seeds of City Hall, and for our city to flourish, we need to deal with those bad seeds. They need to go too. So, Nathan, thank you so much for taking my call. Thanks for letting me, just kind of go on and on. But this will all be in my book. I told you I just wrote a book, Buffy's Labor of Love, Part 1. That will actually be in Part 3. So I have a Part 1, 2, 3, and 4. That portion will be in Part 3 because Part 2 is about my experience in New York. So it's a continuum of stories and just talking about everything that has been going on, especially as it applies to Kelly Prather and my family. So again, thank you so much for taking my call. Continue to empower people to come forward with the truth because the city needs to know how this works. And this year, we flipped Hamilton County, Nathan. We flipped the courthouse. Next year, we have an opportunity to flip the city of Cincinnati. And when we get a totally new incoming council, and when you elect Kelly Prather for mayor, prayerfully, there will be an orientation in place where, you just give some insight. We talk about the history, and we talk about how we need to work to make sure that Cincinnati has been wiped clean. We have a clean slate, and we give everybody the opportunities that they need to flourish, especially small businesses, especially those small Black-owned contractors who want to break into the industry. So again, thank you for taking my call, Nathan. You have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to be listening to you and sharing your feeds all week. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you
God
so
bless.
much. Yeah, she got a lot in. That's Kelly. Going back, for me, I'm very privileged to work with these smart, intelligent people that are doing podcasts right now with CDM. You talked about Fast Pitch. I think very highly of her talents, her skills, her dedication, and what she's doing with that valet service podcast. I can't wait to see it grow and flourish, and I know it will. When you see it go out, please like and share it. I remember that show. Of course, I was live producing it, and I thought it was an excellent conversation. Very timely conversation with some really good insights. And, that's the whole point. That's the whole point, to amplify Black voices in the greater Cincinnati area, to amplify marginalized voices. Again, there's a place for both. I'm glad that there are spaces that exist, whether it be in radio or print or Facebook or whatever. That is great. But why can't we have more? Why can't we have, CDM? Why can't we have more? And we're just getting started. If you know someone who's already doing a podcast or they've got a great idea for a podcast, perhaps we could work together. Perhaps we could work together. She had a lot to unpack, but I got a call on the line. I want to go straight to the call. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, greetings and blessings. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Sorry to, that was me that was kind of disconnecting your phone call just because we can hear that beep. But I'm glad you made it in.
You.
Who am I speaking with?
Yeah. This is the author, Q Taylor, Cincinnati's own.
What's up, Q Taylor?
Man, I'm just calling here. I heard the response of the caller before. Man, he was talking about some stuff. He was hitting some great points. And I just want to tap into that to all the young men and the male youth out there. Now, I was born and raised in Cincinnati, from downtown. I went to Rosenberg Elementary. From there, I attended the school for the creative and performing arts. I was raised by my mom, and my father wasn't around. So most of my life, I searched for a man figure. I had no idea what a real man was, and I know there's a lot of young men out there who's going through the same things or feeling the same type of emotion. So I'm just here to tell them that sometimes you have to look beyond what you see. I'm from downtown. I was surrounded by a lot of negative influence. Sex was all around me. Drugs was all around me. Crime was all around me. But it doesn't mean I had to be a part of those things. I had to look beyond, what I saw. There's people running around now, I got to get a gun. I got to get a gun. But do you know that there's people who live right in the places where you live, who's been living there for years, that never owned a weapon? There's people in the same place that you live, where you see people who don't make it, where you see hopelessness and gloom. There's people who are living successful lives. I stayed on Marbury Street, for about most of my life. I stayed on Marbury Street, right up on Sycamore, man. Where I overlooked our apartment, overlooked the whole downtown. Behind my house was downtown. Right in front of my house was Clifton. So I had the opportunity by living right there in the middle, right, to see working people, people trying, although they're surrounded by all this negativity, they pushed through it and they made something out themselves. They wanted a future, and these were black men. I used to see, I grew up around a lot of drug dealers, and, I'm not pointing a finger at nobody. I know there's a method to the madness. There's reasons why some people are actually out here on the streets doing what they do. But there are also functioning men out there, black men, black kings, who are in the businesses, who are into having businesses for themselves. Look around you. I knew a guy named Bill. He used to work on houses, man. And, I used to have to, run to school to keep from, running into the bad kids or, getting caught up. But, when I walked outside my door, there was a black man named Bill just across the street. He owned houses and he worked on them himself every day. There were also doctors and lawyers and teachers and all kinds of men doing positive things in great professions. But you don't know that if you don't look. If you keep looking at that alleyway or if you keep looking at on those corners, you're never going to see the other great things around you or the other types of life that exist around you. So I'm just here to tell all the young men out there that sometimes, when you're, if you're one of the young males out there and you're searching for, how to be the man, listening to this right now, look at Nathan. He's a great role model. And I'm sure if you look hard enough, you'll see other great role models in your life. And I just want to add about the corona. real quick and brief. It's serious out here. Wear your mask. You know, it's not, you know, we're so caught up in selfishness at this time. You know, all we care about is us, me, my feelings, how I feel. When you put that mask on your face and you walk out here, you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting others around you who might not be as healthy as you are. Your grandmother, your daughter, your son, your cousins, your best friend. This year has taken so many lives, and half of it is because people out here they're having a great life. They're doing what they want to do. It's not all about you. We need to quit being selfish and start taking care of each other. You know, even though you don't like me, we're forced to live on this planet on this earth with each other. So let's live in harmony, man, and let's take care of each other. Okay? And that don't have to be money-wise. You know, just protecting yourself. You know, you're protecting me. You're protecting the people that you love. And you need to know that. You know, if a mask make you uncomfortable, all you have to do is wear it until you get to a place secluded or by yourself. Then take off the mask, breathe a little bit. You know, if you're having difficulties, and take care of each other, love each other, and the young men out there, look beyond what you see, and you can be anything you want to be. Okay? All right, and that's my word, Nathan.
Hey,
I love your show. You are super awesome, man. You know, I'm a rider. I've been here since the beginning.
I appreciate you, Q. Thank you.
You keep what you're doing, brother, and be blessed.
I will, man. And thank you for your support. Like I said, man, I can't let the folks that rock with me down. I can't stop. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. It's about we. It's about us. 513-873-7134. And if you like this type of show, if you like the shows that CDM is producing, if you rock with these kind of voices and want to see more, then consider supporting us via Cash App this morning. Your support means everything. My link, tree is in the description. You can go back to my website, perhaps become a patron this morning. There's a link to merch as well, if that's what you're into. There's multiple ways to support what we're doing. Good morning, Tim. Let me go straight to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yo, what's going on, man? It's Six.
What up, Six? You live on the air, man.
Yeah, man. I'm calling in to talk about the flogging of your boys. What was that, Saturday, Sunday night?
Oh, you talking about Nate? Why you say flogging? What's up with you, Six? Hey, man, just so let people know who you are and what you're doing, man, about your show real quick.
Yeah, man, my name is Six. I'm from the Now I'm Talking About radio show. Got a radio show here in town on Cincinnati Public Radio 91.7. I can drop that, can I?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, man, make sure you check that out. It's every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on 91.7 WBXU. Also, got a lot of good content online. You can check that out at sixsensemedia.com, SIXSENSEMEDIA. But yeah, man, I enjoy the show, man. I've been listening, but I had to talk about Nate Robinson.
All right, go ahead.
He taught me a valuable lesson about staying in your lane. It's very important to stay in your lane, because him getting mollywopped like that is putting his real paper potential in jeopardy. Because does he still play?
He's in the big three now. That
Maybe
league that
not
Ice
no
Cube
more,
started, which is pretty nice, actually. I really enjoy it.
Did you see it?
I saw the clip of it. I didn't watch the mollywopping live because I didn't pay $50 for it. But I didn't see it on Fire Stick either. I didn't even look for it, but I saw it afterward. I mean, like you said, I get a brother props for stepping outside his comfort zone and trying something new, as I would anybody. But being an NBA baller is not the same as a boxer. It's two different types of athletes.
And you can't jeopardize your real bag for whatever bag that he got for that exhibition fight.
He got $100 per round. So then he got $100 per round, and plus he's going to get a percentage of the pay-per-view, which is yet to be disclosed.
$100 per round.
He got $100 a round. Yep.
That's terrible. And he got whooped. He might have brain damage. The way that he fell forehead first into that canvas. That man really got his meat beat out there that night, man.
Yeah, he could have. That was my concern. I was like, damn, I hope dude is okay. I hope little bro's okay out there.
And then the pride. Like, you got to stay in the house for a few months. You got to quarantine yourself like you got COVID after that, because it was bad, man.
It was bad, but
especially
you know what?
with all this racial tension going on.
Oh, because he lost to a white dude? I mean, because you're white don't mean you don't have hands now. That don't mean you don't have hands.
Right. But it's proof now that he can be whooped that way.
Well, boxing is different than a real fight. Don't you agree?
Man.
Boxing is a sport. Fighting is a whole different thing.
Right. It's definitely different. But Jake Paul, he been on other cards before.
Right. He was superior. He was superior that night. We'll put it that way. That night he was superior in that particular fight.
Yeah. It was definitely bad, man. So I just learned to, like, man, your power is in your lane. His lane is basketball, obviously. So you really got to stay in your lane. And man, never fall forehead first. That's another thing that I learned.
You got jokes this morning, huh?
Yeah, he said that on the football helmet. Yeah, man, but that's all I wanted, man. I like the show, man. I wanted to call in, tap in with you, man.
I'm glad you did.
Everybody met you.
I'm glad you did, brother.
Yeah,
Take it easy. Yeah, that's
all
6.
Right, man.
That's 6 right there. He does great content. Who knows? You might see something from CDM. You never know. I got a lot of irons in the fire out here. You never know. What's up, 6? Yeah, I mean, what I learned was simple. Yeah, stay in your lane. That's one thing. But, everyone can be knocked out. People laughing about Jake Paul. Jake Paul would have knocked out 85%, 95% of the population that night. Let's keep it real here. White dudes can throw hands too. There's some white dudes that punch your clock. So, does he have to put it? I think I'll say it like I said earlier, and I stand by that. I got more respect for Nate Robinson for stepping outside of his comfort zone, getting over whatever fear he might have had. Not necessarily about being knocked out, but about what people might say. Now, I know there's a lot of smart, intelligent people out there that don't really get down with things like that. But believe me, fam, there's a lot of people that have great talents, and they never put it out there because they're afraid of what people are going to say if they fail. Oh, they're going to think I'm dumb and I didn't fail. I missed my target. There are so many people that let that stop them. They can't even get out of their own head to even get to the public. So I appreciate the brother getting out there and having his fun. Now, $100 a round, that ain't a whole lot of money. But he's going to get a percentage of the gate. I'm not sure how much it's going to be. So who knows what his bag might be at the end of the day. I hope it's worth it for him, whatever that ends up being for him, because I ain't getting nothing out of it. But in general, what I take out of it is, stay in your lane. That's there. But a couple things. If you live your life like a turtle and you're always inside the shell, you're never going to get anywhere. You feel me? You're never going to get anywhere, family. Yeah, you'll be safe. You'll be real safe inside your little turtle shell, but you're not moving. A turtle doesn't move when it's inside its shell. It doesn't start to move until he puts his head out, puts his arms and legs out, starts moving. And whenever you start doing that, there's an opportunity that you might get knocked out, meaning you don't win all the time. Most people are going to be knocked out at some point in their life. And I don't mean maybe literally you lose consciousness, but knocked out in the sense that you fail, or at least what people perceive to be failure. Because again, don't let other people tell you what failure is. You define failure for yourself. But so what? Everybody falls, slips, fails, stumbles. Everybody does. Everybody does. Everybody feels afraid or butterflies or anxious or whatever. It's what you do in spite of all of that is really determines you. So for me, what Nate does next will say a lot about him. He did put out a statement saying that, that's not the way he wanted the fight to end, obviously, but, he's doing well. And that's it. That's it. Now, some of these memes I showed you earlier, the memes are hilarious. Somebody said this was, again, that's Beetlejuice. I played it earlier or showed it earlier. Somebody said this was Nate Robinson's trainer. That's funny. And then somebody did a meme with some of the young characters from, what was the name of this movie with Doughboy again? Help me, family. John Singleton. It'll come to me. But you know what I'm talking about. I was just thinking about this movie the other day, too. Boys in the Hood. Yeah, I did kind of Google it real quick. And that's a meme from Boys in the Hood. And then somebody made this meme right here saying this was Nate Robinson waking up after the fight. I get it. Now, this is hilarious. I laugh at this, not at Nate, because this is just the internet. This is the creativity of people. I've seen people doing the Nate Robinson challenge. I'm not going to do the Nate Robinson challenge where they was like face down in their living rooms. Is it mean or is it a meme? Is it mean or is it a meme? This is the nature of social media. So I just take it that way. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Nathan? This is Chastity Roman. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? Welcome.
Not a whole lot. So I just wanted to jump in here this morning to bring light to a situation since we're talking about COVID.
Sure.
And it's something that I've been working on since COVID happened with my organization, Ohio Prisoners Justice League. One thing that we are neglecting is COVID in our prison facilities. And the reason why I say we're neglecting the idea of it in the facilities is because right now, Ohio Department of Corrections has approximately 50,000 incarcerated people, right? So when the state releases numbers, our COVID numbers, and what cities are in the red, purple, green, and orange, that does not include that population at all. Those numbers are separate. They don't add those into the state population of people and the numbers that we have from COVID. So right now we have National Guards who are inside of our facilities that are not trained as officers to do the job as correctional officers, but we have them in our facilities because we don't have like 6,000 correctional officers, right? Well, cut that in half because we have guards that are sick from COVID, guards that are dying from COVID. We have folks that are incarcerated who are dying from COVID, who are sick from COVID. And the process that the prison is taking it's disgusting. So let's say that I contract COVID, I'm in the facility. Well, I get thrown in a hole for 14 days with no medical treatment, no medicine, and I have to be literally dying critical stage to be taken out to OSU. And this is it's getting really, really bad. I did a story with WTOL in Toledo for Toledo Correctional because what the state is doing now, instead of testing the incarcerated people, they are testing the wastewater. So they're going to the facility and basically testing the water that they use the bathroom in to see what the levels of COVID are in each facility. It's actually at 80% positive, which means that you have a population of 50,000 people who are in a quarantine space that this virus is being brought into them. They have recycled air, which means they're breathing each other's air in. It's recycled over and over and over again. So if we have officers and administration going inside of our facilities constantly reinfecting 50,000 people, well, what does that really mean for Ohio? Because it's going in and it's coming out, and it's going in and it's coming out, and these men and women are not receiving the proper care that they need to combat this disease. So I really want to bring this to the attention of people, because I understand that folks are in prison for a reason. I get it. But that doesn't really warrant the fact that we are that the general public is reinfecting a quarantine population that will never get well from it. And as long as it's in the facilities, it's going to continue to be in our population of a civilian life. So I just really want to raise this up to people to really start paying attention to what ODRC is doing, to what the governor is doing, and what they're not doing. I've been on the phone with Senator Williams. I have been on the phone with, I've been on the phone with Shabbat's office. I've been on the phone with everybody you can possibly imagine. I've been to Washington advocating for this, and it's like there's no relief whatsoever. And so I just really want to raise this up. I want this to be something that maybe you can look into, and let's really bring some serious awareness to this, because I have families where their loved ones had been dead for 30 days and they were not notified because they died from COVID. Like, it is a real genocide happening inside of our facilities, and we have to do something. So I just wanted to raise that up, and let's kind of, if we're talking COVID, we're talking Black Lives Matter, like let's talk about it for real and do what we have to do in order to bring some kind of heat to this, to put pressure on the governor to say, look, we need a release of people. We need medical care to go into the facilities, because the CARES Act gave the state of Ohio billions of dollars for this specifically. Where's the money going? What is it? Where did it go to? What are you using it for? So I just wanted to raise that up this morning and see, just make people aware of what's really happening.
I appreciate it. Now, is there some place we can go online and get more information, or to do some kind of digital action or something like that?
Yeah, you can find my organization at Ohio Prisoners Justice League on Facebook, and we have everything. We have all kinds of information there that you can find. You can contact me at Chazzy at OPJL, and I can show you some of the actions that we've done, the pursuit that we're going to be taking moving into 2021 concerning this issue. You can also go on Ohio Department of Corrections website. There is a chart there that they chart how many people are sick, how many people are infected, that our organization pushed and pushed and pushed until we got that actually put up there for the public to see. So you can read into that. But yeah, just reach out to me and let's try to make this happen and go into a harder pursuit going into 2021 to get these folks the care that they need and that they deserve.
Okay, Chastity, thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, most def. Appreciate her. Yeah, I just went to the website and joined the group, and I'll be following. I liked it as well, so I'll share it out. Hey, listen, folks, I really appreciate you. That is my time. My son is in virtual learning, so I have to do my due diligence as a father to make sure that I help out. Remember this young brother right here. Here's the brother named Travis Nagdy, who was really stepping up, has stepped up, was very active and out front in the Black Lives Matter movement down in Louisville. And apparently he was shot and killed a week ago. And they're saying it was some kind of robbery, like it was a carjacking, but they didn't steal his wallet and didn't steal his car. And it's just raising a lot of red flags to me. So I want to watch that story and see if perpetrators are brought to justice. And if so, just to really see if it really makes sense. This country has a history of taking out vocal people, especially when you vocal about the Black community in terms of supporting and challenging those that have shown themselves to be enemies of our families. The history in this country is brutal, very brutal for these Black activists. And I'm wondering if, much like COINTELPRO, which people think went away, which has still been alive, it never went anywhere, they just stopped talking about it, if those efforts to take out Black leaders are in fact still in place. Now, I'm not telling you I got any inside track, because I don't. This is just my spider sense going on, or going off. Like Thanos is about to open a portal to this dimension. It's going off like crazy when it comes to that case. In no way am I trying to make light of it. Hey, listen, have an excellent rest of your day, family. Thank you for being here. Please like and share today's show. I'll say it again. If you want to make a donation, there's my Cash App right there. If you want to join our mission, if you believe in the mission to amplify Black voices, there may be a lot of folks who are like, you know what, I don't want to do a long-term kind of thing with Patreon. I understand and completely respect it. Perhaps you want to make a donation this morning. I appreciate you in advance. Have an excellent rest of your day. All right. We'll catch up with you tomorrow bright and early at 7:30 a.m. I don't anticipate not starting the show early today. We got started late today because I found out this morning, like an hour before the show, that my grandmother on my father's side passed away. And this information just kind of came to me late. But of course, I want to take some time to just, sit in my feelings a little bit and reflect. She was a tremendous positive impact in my life, and I will miss her dearly. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. Remember our motto. And until next time, I'm out.
The Nathan Ivey Show. The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem, it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings, I throw all my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you all my spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, show mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride.